You ever notice how some things in life just keep happening over and over? Maybe it's a situation, a lesson, or even a person. You move on, change directions, but somehow it comes right back. It's like life is nudging you, whispering, hey, wake up, pay attention. Now listen carefully. This is not coincidence. It's a pattern. It's a sign. And until you recognize its purpose, it's going to keep showing up again and again and again. Life operates in patterns, and whether we realize it or not, these patterns are constantly shaping our experiences, relationships, and the way we interact with the world. The challenge is that most people don't recognize them. They go through life thinking certain things are just random or that they have bad luck, when in reality, life is repeating itself to get their attention. When something keeps happening over and over, whether it's meeting the same type of person, facing the same struggle, or encountering the same opportunity, it's not just chance. It's a signal, a wake-up call demanding that we pay attention. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone go through one toxic relationship after another? They leave one partner only to end up with someone just like them, or take someone who constantly struggles with money. No matter how much they earn, they always end up in the same financial mess. And then there's the person who keeps running into a specific individual over and over, no matter where they go, almost as if the universe is orchestrating it. These things aren't accidents, they are patterns. Why do patterns exist? Because life, whether you believe it's driven by a higher power, psychology, or simple cause and effect, is always teaching us. And when we don't learn the lesson, we repeat the cycle. You see, we are creatures of habit, and our subconscious mind is constantly pulling us toward familiar situations. If you've ever wondered why history repeats itself in your personal life, it's often because you are unknowingly drawn to the same energy, the same choices, the same responses. Until you recognize what's happening and consciously decide to change, the cycle will continue. Let's take relationships as an example. A person who grew up in a home where love was inconsistent might unconsciously seek out relationships that mirror that instability. Even if they tell themselves they want something different, they might still be drawn to partners who are emotionally unavailable. Why? Because the brain craves what is familiar, even when it's painful. And unless that person wakes up to this pattern and actively chooses a different kind of relationship, they will keep repeating the same dynamic with different faces. This doesn't just apply to relationships. It applies to success, happiness, and even the way we see ourselves. If someone has a deep-seated belief that they are not good enough, no matter how much success they achieve, they will find a way to sabotage it. Maybe they'll procrastinate at the wrong time, turn down a big opportunity out of fear, or make reckless decisions that push them right back into struggle. The belief is the pattern. And until they recognize it, no amount of external success will change their internal reality. The truth is, life is always reflecting back to us what we need to see. The same lessons, the same experiences, and yes, even the same people will keep appearing until we finally understand their meaning. Sometimes these patterns are showing us where we need to heal. Other times they are guiding us towards something we are meant to embrace. And occasionally they are leading us to someone we are meant to cross paths with again and again until we finally realize that they are a part of our journey. Recognition is the first step. The moment you stop and ask yourself, why does this keep happening? You are already taking a step toward transformation. Because once you recognize a pattern, you gain the power to change it. But recognition alone is not enough. You must be willing to do something different. That means breaking the automatic responses, shifting your mindset, and stepping out of the comfort zone of familiarity. It takes courage to acknowledge that you've been stuck in a loop. It takes even more courage to decide that you're going to break free from it, but once you do, everything changes. The struggles that once felt like fate start to dissolve. The opportunities that kept slipping through your fingers begin to align. The person you kept crossing paths with but never really saw suddenly becomes crystal clear. That's the power of awareness. So the next time you find yourself in a situation that feels eerily familiar, don't brush it off. Don't call it coincidence. Instead, ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? What am I supposed to learn here? What change do I need to make? Because the truth is, nothing will change until you do. And if you don't take control, life will keep repeating the pattern over and over until you finally get it. Challenges are not obstacles meant to break us. They are opportunities designed to shape us. Every difficulty, every setback, every painful experience is a test, a lesson, and a push toward growth. Yet most people see challenges as problems, as things to avoid or escape from. They complain, they blame circumstances, they feel like victims of bad luck. But what if we flipped that perspective? What if instead of resisting challenges, we embrace them as necessary steps in our evolution? Because here's the truth. Nothing great is ever achieved in comfort. Growth happens when we are stretched, tested, and forced to rise beyond our limitations. Think about any major breakthrough in your life. Did it come from a moment of ease, or did it come after a struggle? The truth is, transformation comes through resistance. Just like muscles grow when they are pushed beyond their limits, our character, mindset, and success develop when we overcome the trials that life throws at us. The mistake most people make is thinking that challenges are a sign that something is wrong. They believe that if something is difficult, it means they are on the wrong path. But in reality, difficulty is often a sign that you are exactly where you need to be. Take a look at the most successful people in any field: business, sports, art, leadership. Every single one of them has faced obstacles that could have stopped them, but they didn't. Not because they were lucky, not because they had it easy, but because they understood that struggle is part of the journey. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't intelligence, talent, or resources. It's the mindset toward challenges. Some people run from difficulties while others use them as fuel to push forward. Let's talk about setbacks. When things don't go as planned, most people get frustrated. They see failure as an endpoint, when in reality it is simply feedback. It's life saying, not this way, try again. Every time you fail at something, you are learning, you are growing, you are becoming stronger. But only if you choose to see it that way. If you let failure define you, if you let it make you bitter instead of better, you stay stuck. But if you extract the lesson from it, you become unstoppable. Sometimes challenges appear in the form of difficult people. We all have those encounters. Bosses who don't appreciate us, friends who betray us, relationships that break us. And in the moment, it feels unfair. It feels like life is punishing us. But what if those people are teachers in disguise? What if they are placed in our path to show us something about ourselves? Maybe they are pushing us to set boundaries. Maybe they are showing us the parts of ourselves that need healing. Maybe they are preparing us for something greater. Then there are the internal battles, the self-doubt, the fear, the voice in our heads that tells us we're not good enough. These inner struggles are some of the hardest to overcome because they feel so real. But here's what we need to remember. That voice is not the truth. It is simply a reflection of past experiences, of conditioning, of limiting beliefs that have been ingrained in us. And just like any challenge, it is there to be conquered. The moment you realize that fear is just a test, that self-doubt is just resistance trying to hold you back, you can break free. The reason challenges keep showing up in our lives is because they are preparing us for the next level. Life doesn't send struggles to break you, it sends them to build you. Every time you face a difficulty, you are being given a choice. Grow through it or stay the same. And until you choose growth, the same challenges will keep appearing, not because life is cruel, but because you haven't yet learned what you need to learn. If you look at your life right now, what is the biggest challenge you are facing? Maybe it's a career setback. Maybe it's a broken relationship. Maybe it's a personal struggle that you can't seem to overcome. Whatever it is, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What strength is this challenge trying to develop in me? Instead of resisting, step into it. Instead of asking, why me, ask, what can I learn? Because when you shift your mindset from victim to warrior, everything changes. The most powerful people in the world are not those who have never faced hardship. They are the ones who have faced it, embraced it, and risen above it. They have turned pain into power, setbacks into comebacks, and struggles into strength. And the only reason they could do that is because they understood that growth comes through challenge. So the next time life throws something difficult your way, don't shrink, don't run, stand up, face it, and know that this is not happening to stop you, it is happening to shape you. And the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you will realize that every challenge is a stepping stone to something greater. Everything in life operates on energy. The thoughts we think, the emotions we feel, and the actions we take all create a frequency, a vibration that attracts similar experiences into our lives. Most people go through life unaware of this, believing that things just happen to them. But in reality, we are constantly shaping our own experiences based on the energy we put out. This is why certain situations, certain challenges, and even certain people keep showing up in our lives. It's not coincidence, it's alignment. The universe, or life itself, is responding to the signals we are sending out, whether we realize it or not. Take a moment to think about this. Have you ever noticed that when you're in a negative state, feeling stressed, angry, or hopeless, everything seems to go wrong? Traffic is worse, people annoy you more, and even small problems feel like massive obstacles. On the other hand, when you're in a positive focus and confident state, things seem to flow more easily, opportunities appear, people treat you differently, and life just feels smoother. This isn't luck or randomness, it's energy at work. Like attracts like. This applies not only to our daily experiences, but also to the people we attract into our lives. Have you ever wondered why some people keep attracting toxic relationships, or why others seem to keep finding themselves in situations where they're undervalued, disrespected, or ignored? It's not just bad luck, it's an internal pattern of energy. If someone subconsciously believes they are not worthy of love, they will continue to attract partners who reinforce that belief. If someone carries unhealed wounds from past relationships, they will keep meeting people who trigger those same wounds until they finally face them and heal. But it works the other way too. When we elevate our energy, when we step into confidence, self-respect, and purpose, the people and opportunities that enter our lives begin to reflect that shift. This is why certain relationships, friendships, or career opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere when we're truly aligned with our purpose. It's not random, it's because our energy has reached a frequency where those things naturally come into our lives. Sometimes we keep crossing paths with the same people, and it feels like the universe is trying to tell us something. Maybe it's someone you keep running into no matter where you go. Maybe it's a person who keeps showing up in your thoughts, even after years apart. Maybe it's an opportunity that keeps presenting itself, but for some reason, you haven't fully embraced it. These moments are not accidents. They are signs of alignment. There are forces at work beyond what we can see, and when two energies are meant to connect, life will keep creating opportunities for that connection to happen. The mistake most people make is ignoring these signs. They rationalize them, dismiss them as coincidence, or assume that if something was meant to happen, it would have happened already. But timing is a crucial part of alignment. Just because something or someone has entered your life before doesn't mean you were ready for it at that moment. Growth is a process, and sometimes life brings certain people or opportunities back into our orbit when we've reached the right stage of development to fully embrace them. And this is why self-awareness is so important. When we become conscious of our own energy, we can begin to take control of what we attract. Instead of moving through life unconsciously, repeating the same patterns, we can intentionally shift our focus, elevate our mindset, and align ourselves with the things we truly desire. It's about tuning into what life is trying to tell us, recognizing the patterns, and making the necessary shifts to step into alignment. One of the most powerful realizations we can have is that we are not separate from the things we desire. The relationships we want, the success we seek, the purpose we long for, all of these things exist within our reach, but they require us to step into the energy that matches them. This means becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts what we want. It means raising our standards, healing our past wounds, and showing up in the world with a confidence and clarity that draw the right people and opportunities to us. So how do we do this? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to what keeps showing up in your life. If you keep attracting the same challenges, ask yourself what energy or belief is creating that pattern. If you keep crossing paths with a certain person, ask yourself what that connection might mean. If you feel stuck, ask yourself what internal shifts need to happen to move forward. The next step is intentionality. Once you recognize the energy you've been operating from, make a conscious effort to shift it. If you've been approaching life from a place of fear, start cultivating courage. If you've been holding on to self-doubt, start practicing self-belief. If you've been closed off to opportunities or relationships, start opening yourself up to possibility. As you shift your energy, your external world will begin to shift as well. Finally, trust the process. Sometimes things won't make sense right away. Sometimes we won't understand why certain people or opportunities keep reappearing in our lives. But if we stay open, if we keep growing, and if we align ourselves with the energy of what we truly want, everything will fall into place at the right time. The universe isn't random. Life is always moving us toward what is meant for us. And when the timing is right, when the energy is right, what is meant to be will finally come together. Most people go through life believing that things just happen to them. They think their circumstances are fixed, that their relationships are based on luck, and that success or failure is largely out of their hands. But the truth is, we are constantly shaping our own reality through our choices, our beliefs, and our actions. Every decision we make, every mindset we adopt, and every opportunity we embrace or ignore is creating the path we walk. The sooner we realize that we are in control of our destiny, the sooner we can start making intentional decisions that lead us to where we truly want to be. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect circumstances. They tell themselves that when they have more money, more confidence, more experience, or more time, then they'll take action. But waiting is the fastest way to stay stuck. The truth is, life will never hand you a perfect moment on a silver platter. The timing will never feel 100% right. The stars won't magically align unless you decide to take control and make them align. If you keep finding yourself in the same situations, facing the same struggles, or meeting the same type of people, it's because there's a decision you haven't made yet. Maybe it's a decision to finally step up and take responsibility for your future. Maybe it's a decision to stop settling for less than you deserve. Maybe it's a decision to stop ignoring the signs that life keeps sending you. Whatever it is, until you take control and make that choice, the same patterns will keep repeating. People often complain that they have no control over their circumstances, but in reality, they are making decisions every day, whether they realize it or not. Choosing not to act is still a choice. Choosing to stay in the same place, to tolerate the same problems, to avoid difficult conversations or tough decisions, that's a choice too. And every choice either moves you closer to the life you want or keeps you stuck exactly where you are. Think about a person who constantly struggles in relationships. They might blame bad luck, saying they always meet the wrong people, but the real issue isn't luck. It's the choices they're making. Maybe they're choosing to ignore red flags. Maybe they're choosing to hold on to past pain instead of healing. Maybe they're choosing to close themselves off to real connection out of fear. The pattern will keep repeating until they make a new choice. The same applies to career and success. Some people spend years complaining about their job, feeling stuck and unfulfilled, but they never take action to change it. They tell themselves they have no options, but that's rarely true. The real problem is that they haven't made a decision to do something different. They haven't committed to learning new skills, applying for new opportunities, or taking a risk. And because they haven't made that decision, they stay in the same cycle year after year. The key to breaking these cycles is simple. Take ownership. Stop waiting for someone else to fix things. Stop expecting life to magically change on its own. Start making bold, intentional choices that move you forward. If you want a better relationship, be the kind of person who attracts one. If you want success, take massive action toward it. If you keep crossing paths with a certain opportunity, stop hesitating and embrace it. If life keeps bringing someone back into your orbit, maybe there's a reason, so stop ignoring it and start paying attention. Taking control of your destiny doesn't mean you won't face challenges. It doesn't mean everything will happen overnight, but it does mean you'll stop feeling like a passenger in your own life. You'll stop feeling powerless. Because the moment you take full responsibility for where you are and where you're going, everything shifts. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop blaming and start solving. You stop drifting and start leading. Every great success story is built on decisions. The decision to keep going when things get tough. The decision to walk away from what no longer serves you. The decision to say yes to an opportunity even when it scares you. The decision to stop repeating old patterns and step into something new. Your future is not determined by chance. It's shaped by the choices you make today. So ask yourself, what decision have you been avoiding? What action have you been putting off? What change do you know deep down you need to make? Because the truth is, until you take control and make that move, this will keep happening. The same patterns, the same struggles, the same opportunities knocking at your door until you finally step up and claim what's meant for you. You have more power than you think. You are not here to be a spectator in your own life. You are here to lead, to create, to decide. The moment you take control of your destiny is the moment everything changes. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop repeating the cycle. Step into your power and make the decision that will shift everything. Because if you don't, life will keep sending you the same lesson over and over until you finally take charge.